My name's Betty, and I'll help you make your garden today. But first I'm going to make a little demonstration garden, and I'm going to do a treehouse theme. So I picked out a little treehouse, and I picked out this plant because it's going to represent a little tree. But then I also chose this little tree stump thingy to give a little more tree je ne sais quoi to my creation. And then I have these other colorful little plants that are going to decorate the garden, and a watering can. And I brought flagstone from one of my jobs I was working on this week. So the first thing we need to do, we're going to pick out a pot. I picked out, this one's $5 over here. We're going to cover the hole. You have to get the hole drilled in the bottom. The guys will do it. It'll take 2 minutes. And then you need to cover the hole so that all the soil doesn't go falling through. So I'm going to grab a little rock over here to cover the hole. Does anybody know any fairy stories? Do you? No? Well, I have some fairy stories I'll tell you guys later. Well, I'm going to fill this container.
I've seen a fairy.
This is our soil that we use for class.
It's just regular potting soil then?
It's potting soil, but it's the kind of cactus dry mix. It's cactus mix. So it's for succulents and more dry plants. So now I have to haul this giant pot over, but I'll be careful. And then we're going to scoop right into it. Careful. When it gets up in your face, it kind of makes you sneezy a little bit. So the basic thing you want to know about making a miniature landscape is to give it a nice firm foundation. Because you want to do like pathways, you want to put your plants in, and you don't want it to all come popping apart, right? You don't want it to all come popping apart when you take it home. So you're going to start by just really firming down the potting soil. And since I'm doing a little treehouse theme, I think I'm going to create a little hill up on this corner of the saucer, which even though we're teaching you how to make a container garden, this isn't really a pot that you plant in. Usually it's a saucer, but when you drill a hole in the bottom, you can create a nice pot by creating hills and elevations. So if I put my tree here, my little tree house here, that's going to work pretty nice, right? So the first plant I'm putting in is a tree, and that, take it out of its container, the roots look nice and healthy. I stripped away the bottom leaves from this plant, they're over there, to make it look more like a tree. So if anyone needs help with kind of retrofitting your plants, I'm the gal to see. Pardon?
Would the leaves grow back?
They will. These plants grow like crazy. These plants multiply. See all these little offshoots on this plant? This is a succulent. I think this is called an ionium. Is this ionium, Janice?
Yeah.
And there's lots of different kinds of ioniums. This is called pork and beans, but it's a sedum. And this one is a crassula. These are all drought tolerant. I believe this is another sedum, maybe?
I think it's
Mesembree? Don't know. I mentioned I make a living as a gardener? Okay.
It's too much to learn.
So now, it's a lot to learn, right? So now, I really want to make my hill kind of gradual, because I'm going to use some of these flagstones that I saved from one of my jobs this week. So I want this part to be as flat as possible to keep the little house on a firm foundation. So this is really the most important part of your whole garden, is to make sure it's nice and solid. See how now you can bring it home, it's not going to pop apart. You want to plant all the plants first. So I'm going to put this little colorful one down here, and you can kind of shorten the roots on the shallow corners by just kind of messing with the soil a little. And then you kind of just tuck it in and firm around it gently. Because you can see the little leaves pop off easily. But the amazing thing about these succulents, you can plant these and they'll grow. If you just plunk them into the soil, they do grow. You'll get more plants. These things grow quickly too, which is nice because they look so small when you first, create your garden, but then after a while, see, these roots are even more healthy, but they're going to be happy to be in a new container so they can have room to spread out. So I'm just going to kind of separate those. And then I think I'm going to put this on the side of the tree almost as if it's like a little meadowy, grassy kind of area. Because see how it kind of grows flat? So this is going to represent like a drought-tolerant landscape. And so I'm gently tucking it in. That's like a little grassy hillside, and this hopefully will grow this way. Okay. And then we'll put this guy maybe over here for some more color. And see again, this popped off. I'm just gonna gently tuck it into the soil and that'll grow. And I have to remember to leave room next to the house next to my tree for my little house. So I'll do some more pruning. It looks like I still have room. That's pretty good. Okay. So we put this colorful guy in. Make him a little shorter on the roots. Yeah, those look nice together, don't you think? Okay, so we have a nice colorful little garden area, and then I'm going to do a path right here. So I'm going to start with some of these flagstones. Not too many of them. And I brought these, you guys are welcome to use them. If you do, be careful of sharp edges, because these do have sharp edges, so be careful when you handle them. This guy, and maybe a little small one on top. This will be the landing for the house. So then this is going to be like level-ish. Does it look like a path? As you can tell, I kind of just improvised the design. You could draw it out if you wanted, but if you don't like this, you can just pick it up and change it. So it's easy enough to rearrange your garden as you go with any little part of it that you don't, think looks exactly the way you want it to. So underneath my house, I'm going to put some rocks, just to have a little foundation for the house. So I'm going to tuck those in. And one of the reasons I'm going to use these for this little toy is because you see how every time I put it up here, the legs kind of want to sink in, which is good. I like that, but you want something underneath it, to give it a little color and dimension. So maybe just a few more of these. We'll go this way, and this way. Okay, and then when I grabbed these rocks to plug the hole in the bottom, I also like to use these little pebbles just as like a boulder in the landscape, So it ends up really giving the landscape a lot of dimension and a lot of pizzazz if you have little natural elements. And then my friend gave me these gold rocks. So I'm just going to put those boulders in there too because they're cute. And they look like fairy boulders because they're gold. Do you think so? They're special boulders. No one can deny it.
For the treehouse, can you put like little things in the treehouse?
I think so. It looks like there's a lot of room in there. You could put toys in there for sure. I totally think you could. Shopkins.
Shopkins.
What'd you say? So now I'm using a little gray sand with my gray pebble to just kind of even out the color scheme around the edges a little bit. Just so you don't see as much of the dirt, you kind of see the little hardscape that you created, you know? And I might do the same thing back here, but I'm going to hustle along so you can make your gardens. So here comes our little tree house. Put him in place. Then put the ladder there, which hooks right onto this little thingy. And the fairies can just come home and go do 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 do. There's also another cute little ladder inside, but I didn't know the pink one came with it. But I think either one of these works. Kind of cute. I like pink, so I'm going to keep the pink one. Okay, then we have a little watering can. We'll put that over by where the fairies' brightly colored little flower garden is. And then the tree stump, like I said, we just put that in to kind of give more of an illusion that this is a tree and not a tall succulent.
There's a door in there.
Where? I know, and so I think you can put a little animal in there too, like a bunny hutch. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more hardscape, although, does anybody think we need a pond or anything in this garden, or do you like it the way it is? You like it? Use the pond? I'll show you how to do a little water feature. Water features are fun. So if you want to make a little water feature, let's move these little ones that I planted and put them over here. They'll grow. And then have this be like a little pond. So what you do is you just kind of scoop out a little, press it down and make a little area for your water. And then I like to use a little blue sand first. Not that much. Hi, America. she puts these on YouTube. Okay, so here's our water feature, and then you use these pretty glass rocks to make it look like water, which is always fun. So the fairy can come down here and put her feet in and get nice and cool on a hot day. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I think I'm going to cover all the other exposed soil with pebbles and a little more sand. But I'll probably use this beigey kind of sand so that the rest of our elements can stand out. So put it all around. Tuck some around the pathway. And then add a little sand. This is just regular old, like, play sand or building sand. And then you gently kind of press it in so the soil gets hidden. Clear away your path stones. Okay. So that's basically how you do it. I probably will continue to tweak this a little so it looks better and so more of the dirt is covered up. And then you kind of just want to brush off the edges of your pretty dish. And what do y'all think?
It's good.
Basic fairy garden. Thank you.
As far as maintenance and water, how do you?
So you don't have to water it today, like in class, because then it'll mess up your car with like draining out the bottom. When you get home, just give each one of these plants like a cup of water, and then about once a week you want to water them, especially if it's hot. Once a week or once every week and a half. They don't really show, like, you know, with regular plants, if you don't water them, they wilt over. These don't really do that, but if you water these, they spread and grow. So they can handle like hardly any water, but if you want it to spread and grow and fill out, it's good to water them like once a week. So So, any other, forgot a very important part. At the end of making your fairy garden, bring it to life with a little bit of fairy dust. Always. There you go. So now the fairies will come to the fairy garden because we had to use the magical fairy dust. Okay. What do you think? Do you guys want to make one?
Yep.
Okay.